Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to this week's meeting of Essex Business Forum. An intimate gathering. Great, we've got everybody up together. Turnout today is 17 plus 1 visitor. Morning. Morning. This week. Good morning. As I drove in this morning, I passed a series of signs that said beware of flooding on the carriageway. So it's an interesting comment on the weather at the moment. Let's get on with the meeting. I'm Aidan Squire, I'm your meeting chairman. It's my job to get you through the agenda. In that I'm assisted by the leadership team. With those members of the leadership team available, please be standing. Introduce yourself.
Good morning, I'm our Social Secretary.
Morning guys, Ben, Education Coordinator.
Good morning everybody, I'm Terry and I deal with membership and recruitment, and today I'm standing Scott who deals with facts, finances and something else.
Freeman, handsome face.
There is that as well, yeah, wasn't it? I don't know how Scott says it every week.
You finish.
One more thing.
Go on, and your handsome face of...
You're right.
I'm not so happy.
Yes, Vincent. Morning, David. And I chair the membership committee and I'm also the official timekeeper.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you all. Please be seated. Let's move into the meeting itself. It starts off with the performance league, and Terry, in his stand-in role, will leap into action.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't got the performance league because Scott's mum sent me the wrong one. She sent me the one for August, so I don't know whether she's guessing or not. The one for July, I think Scott mentioned anyway, didn't he, that he won it handsomely as a lot of catch-ups. Yeah, I'll come back to the what we've been doing later on in terms of financials.
Thanks. The education slot is next. Ben, take it away.
Right, good morning guys again. What I thought I'd talk to you about today is are you making the most out of your 60-second presentation? No. Well, we all know that that's one of the most important parts of the meeting, and it's your chance to tell people a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and what sort of products or things that you're looking for as well. However, I have to say, I think we are all quite good at doing our 60 seconds because you are all experts in your own field. And however, there's a few tips here how you can supercharge your 60 seconds, and you can actually use these for your 10-minute presentation as well. So, number one, we've got 6 tips. Number one, make eye contact. So when you're looking around at people, make sure you look into people's eyes and don't do what Toby just did. Stare at people, because that is really going to make people feel uncomfortable. Oh, it's going to make you look a little bit odd. But make people think that you are actually talking to them. Number 2 is use vocal variety. So don't stay on one tone all the way through what you're talking, because it gets really boring after a while and then you end up falling asleep and not paying attention. So using vocal variety will really help when you're speaking and presenting. Speed is number 3. I'm not saying take some before you do a presentation, but speed. Sort of slow up and slow down, and make sure that you actually do sometimes talk a little bit slower if it's something that you really want people to take in. And you don't want to rush to squeeze in as much as possible in your 60 seconds or your 10 minutes. Remember, when you're doing your 60 seconds, you're only telling people enough so they want to know more. Number 4, be prepared. Looking at Matt here, so don't leave it to the last minute. Or even worse, don't do it once the meeting has begun, because people will know the difference. Number 5, make it different each week. Try and do something. Maybe you've done that's slightly different than you did last week. Maybe you've helped a different customer. Maybe you've done a new job. But doing something different each week will keep people's attention. And finally, if you really want to know what you sound like, is record yourself. We've all got apps on our phone, so maybe you record yourself so you know what works or what doesn't. So, with that in mind, next week we expect some really good 60 seconds there that you've already re-recorded and listened to, so make sure that you do your best job possible. But thank you for listening.
Thanks, well done. Next up is membership matters. Terry, it's you again.
Yeah, well, we, as you know, when members renewal comes up, there's a process that we go through, isn't there, Vince?
Yes.
Not looking. And we had that delight with Neil last week, and I'm pleased to say that the membership committee almost unanimously.
Who was the one?
Neil was pleased to renew, and the membership committee were delighted to sanction that, so that's great. And Neil, I invite you to apply for the Mark of Excellence. If you go on the website, you see how to do it if you're not sure what you're in.
Oh, good job, thank you very much.
Next year.
Thank you very much, Terry. Right, we approach the 60-second round. I will, as usual, send round the business card box. You know what to do. Check it for your own. Get out to others so you can make referrals. The 60-second round itself is upon us. Vincent keeps the time after 50 seconds. After 60 seconds. When you hear the 60-second bell, if you should hear the 60-second bell, please wind down immediately and sign off. Last week, Mike Rogers won the Oscar. Hey. For a very succinct 60 seconds. He will be listening carefully today and will award the Oscar to the worthy winner, no doubt. So, Mike, carry on. Let's get on with the meet. Let's get on with the 60-second round. Mike will go first, and he will be followed by Melissa.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
So this morning I want to talk to you about your obsession with Oscars and awards and certificates and things like that. So I'm going to talk to you about all the awards that I've had throughout my lifetime and the effect that they've had on my life. It started when I was 8, and my parents told me I had to go and join the Cubs, Wolf Cubs as they were called in those days. So I went to Cubs, and there was this hall full of noisy kids all playing and having fun and crap like that. And I went in there, and the first thing they did was they taught me how to make a cup of tea, and then they gave me a badge that said that I was able to make a cup of tea. Great, I thought. I went home and told my parents, and from that moment on, every time my mum and dad wanted a cup of tea, it was Muggins here that had to bloody make it. I wanted this badge. Anyway, my second award was when I was 9, and I was sent to learn to swim, and I swam a width, and they awarded me a little stripe to go on my Speedos, which was okay because you can wear Speedos when you're 9. They then took me on they took me on holiday to walk on the Naze, and I waded out to one of those little rafts that are just off the coast there, and then the tide came in, it got all rough and I was terrified. My parents were on the promenade saying, "Come on, Michael, you can swim sure," and it was only a complete stranger coming along that waded out and rescued me that enables me to be here today. Anyway, next week I will carry on at age 10 when I will tell you what a crock of shit the 11 plus was and what that did for me. And I'll take you all the way through over the next 50 weeks to 2018 when a policeman gave me an award for driving at 38 miles an hour and a 30 limit. Now, if any of you want to stand a chance of winning the Oscar today, you've either got to mention Francis Rossi or the words crock of shit in your 60 seconds to stand a chance of winning. Thank you very much. I forgot to mention I do mortgages as well.
Vince, how long was that?
1 minute 50.
Right, so he can't do long. He can't do long next week.
You only have 10 seconds.
You only have 10 seconds. Right, okay. Next up is Melissa, followed by John Freeman.
Good morning, everybody. As you know, Freeman Francis, that's me, and I'm a licensed consultancy practitioner. So this week, I was instructed to deal with an administration of a company. The directors wish to purchase the business and assets out of the company and to start a new company and the business continue. The process allows the continuation of the business whilst the company is then put into liquidation. This process saves jobs and allows the continued operation of the business in a seamless way. and allows the company debts to fall away. In this particular instance, the amount written off is going to be close to £2 million. So the directors are able to save jobs, continue with their business, and restructure it in a way that allows them to write off debt. So if you know anybody who wants information or advice about administration, please come speak to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Melissa. John Freeman, followed by Toby Acton.
Thanks, Aidan. Morning, everyone. My name's John. I own a one-stop property shop. I know about a crock of shit, but I fill a few cracks of shit. Just for a laugh yesterday, whilst arguing with someone about whose job is what, I asked Google what a handyman is. A handyman, also known as a fixer, handy person or handy worker, is a person skilled at a wide range of repairs, typically around home. These tasks include trade skills, repair work, maintenance work, are both interior and exterior, and are sometimes described as side work, odd jobs or fix-ups. Obviously I do this on a full-time basis. I noticed walking in there was a couple of little paving stones out there, and I've had quite a lot of this of late. There's a nice crack up there, cracks above the windows, and as I was just discussing with Nick, it's the weather. We're having a really long dry period, ground's compacting, and it's causing movement. So if you know anyone that's got a crack that needs filling,
Thank you very much, John. Toby Acton will be followed by Mike Skinner.
Good morning, everybody. Some of you might have noticed on Facebook that on Tuesday I had no electricity for the day because they were replacing the pole in our yard, and I was going to do this long, convoluted metaphor about not having power and not having the resources, and frankly, I can't think of anything funny or relevant. So, just one thing that did come out of that: don't tell your wife, girlfriend, partner, whatever, that you're decided to take the entire day off and you're not going to do any work, because then they come up with all this list of stuff, and then when she'd worked out that all of my power tools are battery operated, I ended up doing 18,000 steps in the day, doing all the odd jobs around the house and garden. So that's just my tip for today. It might be a crock of shit, but I've never met Francis Russell.
Thank you very much, Toby. Mike Skinner, followed by James.
Morning everybody, Mike from Blackwater Media. Sorry I've been absent for a couple of weeks, and I'm also doing my 10 minutes today, so I won't go into too much depth. I've had a pretty manic month actually, but it's calming down a little bit now, so open to any referrals, especially for any remaining summer events, because it's getting towards that in the sort of season. I've also got a note here just to say how great Mike Rogers is, very handsome, very funny, and real good top chap. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. I was about to note down what you were going to say. James, you're next, followed by Neil.
Morning all, James from RMK Insurance. As we know, the world's a bit of a crock of shit at the moment. And although it's not rocking, the prices are going up all over the world. And I don't like it. Property owners insurance. If your sum insured was adequate last year, it may not be this year. So prices are going up between 9.5% and 12.5%. If you're on a policy that is a day one uplift, it just says they're not going to change your sum insured, and they're going to assume that you're going to update it. If you're on index linking, you're okay. But if you have a property owner's policy, if you know someone with a property owner's policy, get them to check it. If it's not index linking, it needs to be. If it's not index linking and they can't index link it, increase the sum insured. Because as I spoke about underinsurance before, if in a couple of years' time you are underinsured, you will get penalised, and you will get a lot less money than you're hoping for, and you'll have a face like our Mike, not very happy. James, RMK Insurance.
You're doing so well to
Thank you, James. Neil, you're next, followed by Paul Booth.
Hi, Neil from Millennium Event Catering. Festival season. So that's it. That's me. Living, breathing, eating, sleeping. Festivals, and I'm sick of it, and I really want it to be over. I've got 2 or 3 weeks left to go. Finish with the biggest festival of the season, which is the naughty, the older wacky one. So when that's done, I can go and sleep for a week and that's it. Just want it to be over. So thank you very much.
Right, so you know what not to do. Paul Booth is next, followed by Nick Cook.
Hi, Paul Booth from Booth & Co, Chartered Certified Accountants based in Brentwood. Check your state pension forecast. What is a state pension forecast? It tells you how many qualifying years you've met towards your state pension, shows you what gaps you've got and how many years you need to contribute, and it also gives you an indicative amount. So you do this by going onto the .gov website or just typing into Google state pension forecast. A lot of people have their own limited company, but they don't have a PAYE scheme. And if they don't have a PAYE scheme, they're not getting a qualifying year for state pension. So that is important. So yeah, check your state pension forecast. We do payroll schemes for clients. All of our clients have got a payroll scheme. Paul Booth from Booth & Co. Minimize tax. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Paul. Nick Cook is followed.
Good morning, my name's Nick, as you know, I'm the Group Structural Engineer. You may recall, maybe 2 months ago, I mentioned I went to a job in Rayleigh to look at a retaining wall. The client wasn't at all happy with the way the builder had constructed it. And he wanted me to take a good look at it and tell him what was wrong with it, and could I please do a report that he could present to the builder to basically back him up on his decision not to pay the builder. I did the inspection, and I wrote a damning report, very nicely worded I have to say, but you know, it was a very good report. And to use my client's word, the builder has capitulated. He's rolled over, he's given up, you can see the strength of my report, he doesn't stand a chance basically, and he's given my client a full refund. Which is good, isn't it? So that's one of the things I do in addition to structural inspections and design experience. Thank you.
What Nick Cook as a gentleman wouldn't say is that what the builder did was a crock of shit. If you interpret it as that, then he qualifies for the award of the Oscar. Or not, as the case may be. Vincent, you're next, and you're followed by...
Morning everyone, it's Steve Freeman. I talked to you this morning about bespoke picture framing. This is someone that's run the London Marathon. We lay all the paraphernalia out on the desk, and very interestingly, that's the customer's feet. So we lay it all out, and then the finished product obviously looks like that, and you can see it. Something to cherish forever. And also, this was a Toastmaster, and we actually put his gavel, his trusty gavel, in a frame as well, so that his family can look in for years to come. We frame all sorts of things. We'll frame family photos, certificates, art, football shirts, not Arsenal ones, records and vinyl, crocks of shit, war medals. In fact, we'll frame anything that's not breathing. Thank you. Speak for it, we frame you happy.
You see? Toastmaster and no toast. It just doesn't make sense. Howard, you're next. You're followed by Matt.
Morning, everyone. Howard Bullock from Financial Advice. I had a client coming up on Monday asking to take, I think it was, £60,000 out of his portfolio. Now, I hate that, but it's their money, so I've got to acquiesce to that. They've got over £500,000 invested with me. And part of the investment, about 150,000, we put something very, very different, behaved in a very different way to most other investments. So whereas most of their portfolio's gone down by about 11% since the beginning of the year, this other section I did hasn't gone down at all, because it behaves in a very, very different way. And that's quite advantageous. So we can take the 60,000 out from that, because it hasn't lost any value. And the rest of it that has lost value, we can just leave alone for a while, and that will recover in time, and the clients will be very happy, and they're much better off as a result of that. So having contrasting investments that behave in a very different way can be really helpful to the client, especially when they get to the point where the mother takes some money out further down the line. So if you don't have a huge portfolio that wants to be invested in, then please give me a call.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Matt, you're followed by Ben.
Good morning, everyone. Matt Barron from Blue Seraph. It's been busy time at Blue Seraph Towers. Exciting. As most of you know, we have just moved. Not to say that our old premises were a crock of shit, but they weren't quite conducive to what we wanted as a creative design agency. We wanted more collaborative space. We wanted to be able to provide our clients with a better environment for them to come in and work with the designers. So we're really, really happy. And obviously to keep the status quo, when we came to move in, we went down and got everyone ice creams from Rossi's. So, you know, everyone was happy. And that's what we're all about. We're all about keeping everyone happy. So we're all happy, which means our clients are happy, which means we produce fantastic work. That's Matt Barrett from Do Sarah.
From my Roger's point of view, that was absolutely perfect, wasn't it? Right, next up was Ben, and he is followed by Brian.
Good morning, guys. Ben Golding from Utility Warehouse. Now, tomorrow is a D-Day. We get told what the price rise is going to be. What a crock of shit. Whatever is going up is going to go up way more than what we're paying at the moment. However, early this week, I had a nice chat with a lovely young family, a descendant of Francis Bosley, and his energy was going up to £465 a month. However, I was able to help him fix the energy with his gas, electricity, home phone, broadband, 2 unlimited mobile phones, and boiler cover for $311, saving him in total £200 a month. That's nearly £2,500 a year, which is going to make a massive difference. So this week, if you hear any of your friends and family concerned about the price rise, get them to talk to me, and I can offer them savings, simplicity, and service. That's Ben Golding at Utility Warehouse.
Thank you, Brian, you're followed by Terry.
Good morning, everybody. Brian Painter, therapist, delivering therapy. It was about this time last year, a lady came to me, she wanted help to pass my driving test. She'd had 172 lessons and taken 17 tests and failed a lot. So we had a few sessions, she took the test, and guess what? She failed. That's the last I heard of it until a couple of weeks ago. She said, I've got another test coming up. Can I come back? So she came back, had to check. It wasn't her driving that's a problem, it was her mindset. She expected to fail. So changed the mindset, she had just one session, and she's passed. Now she's phoned me again and said, I'm terrified about driving on my own. Can you help me? So this week I'm looking for people who want to help to pass exams or driving tests. Brian Painter, the therapy, help is just a phone away. From Cornwall, thank you.
So you went and sat next to her in the car, did you? Works every time. Thanks, Brian. Terry, you're next, followed by Tina.
Yeah, good morning everybody. Terry Mayland, you know, CM Law. I don't know Francis Rossi, Mike, but I do know Valentino Rossi. That helps. Yeah, like that.
You see?
Not yet, yeah. Anyone who knows anyone who's got buy-to-let properties will have heard on grapevine that in April next year the Section 21 provisions are being disbanded. And what that means is you can't get your property back without fault. There are no fault provisions. And in its place they are changing the Section 8 provisions which are faultless. At the minute it's 17 or 18 grounds, and they're going to add some more. So what they're taking away, they're going to add some back in. It's a little bit confusing, but I'm up to speed with it, so you don't need to be. If you know anyone who's got a property buy to let, they're concerned about that, give them my details, I'll be happy to have a chat with them about it. Terry Mayland, TM Law.
Thank you, Terry. Tina, you will be followed.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Tina, Campus called Liberty Executive Services. Francis Rossi needs some help because his office is a crock of shit. So if you've got his details for me, let me know and I'll help him with his office. That's what I do. I help people in their offices or even at home, whatever support they need. So if you know anybody, like Francis Rossi, I do like Francis, I'm sure as well. That's that end. Really. Half of my details I'll give out to them. So that's me, Tina, Liberty Executive Services. I'm not a 9 to 5, I'm a
Thank you very much, Tina. I really don't know whether to pander to Mr. Robin. Francis Rossi and crappy shit, but I don't think I will. I haven't had any recent instructions to prepare contracts of employment. not even varying existing contracts, although working patterns have changed, which opens the door for changing contracts and varying them. The employer has the right to decide where and when the employees where they work on the basis of their contract, but employees can request flexible working patterns, and this way the employee can instigate changes to the contract. If the employers want to instigate, they need advice on their existing contract and the variation that's needed, and if the employee instigates flexible working, then they'll need advice as to how to deal with this. Consequential amendments will follow. So go out there, find them for me, and get them to me. That's Aidan Squire, TM Law. That is the end of the 60-second round.
Missed one. Oh, no, you Sorry, not mine. That's been Norwich just moved past, and it's not mine.
Oh, that's just
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I just wanted to point out who wasn't.
At risk of taking another several minutes, I'll pass it over to my
Visitor.
But we've got the visitor.
Now take another 5 minutes.
My apologies, David. Get on with the proper shit and tell us about yourself.
Hi, good morning. My name's David Simberg from Complete Carpet Care. Work with commercial and residential clients. Have any of you seen one of these?
I haven't.
If you haven't, you've probably never had your carpets cleaned properly. I'm David Simberg, Complete Carpet Care. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you very much, David. Mr. Rogers, delight us.
When I was 11. When I was 10, my parents told me that I shouldn't use naughty words. So I'm afraid anybody that's used naughty words in this is not going to win. So going through it, there was a few people that did very good 60 seconds. Melissa was good, Neil was good, Howard was very good, Nick Cook was very good. Who's this boring bloke? Oh, Kulu. Anyway. A few people did quite well and mentioned Francis Rossi, although they still don't really know who he is.
We do now.
No, they don't. And Crocochet, as I say, naughty words, can't do that. But the winner of today's Oscar, for not only supporting me in my calls, but for actually putting a curved ball in there and mentioning the word parfit that most of you will have to Google, goes to Aidan Squire. For those of you that aren't having to Google the word parfit, put the word brick in front of it and you'll know what we're talking about.
Thank you very much, Mike. Excellent, if I might say. Right, 60 seconds round done. Next up, as usual, is the meeting secretary's report, which is Terry. Yep.
Good morning again, everybody. Just to let you know how we've done today, but it looks like we've got 11 referrals and £3,726. A bit of a slow start to the month, but last month we just about managed to break 100 grand. So we need to get cracking this one.
Sorry, Terry. Glad you just pissed him off.
Right. Thanks, Terry. Right, we approach the 10-minute presentation, and I'll hand you over to Ben.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so before I introduce today's 10-minute speaker, just give you an update on the upcoming couple of weeks. So next week on the 11th of August, Paul is giving us the 10-minute presentation, and Toby will be doing the education slot. On the 18th, Kieran is doing the 10 minutes, and Stuart's doing the ed slot. 25th, Hannah, I think you've got to check because she's going to be here. So Hannah's 10 minutes and I'll be doing the ed slot. And then into September, Aidan is doing the 10 minutes, and Vince, Vince's doing the education slot.
What date was that?
The 1st of September. So when it is your turn to do the 10 minutes, please go to the EBF website, download the bio sheet and get it to me at least a day or two beforehand. If you can't do your 10 minutes for whatever reason, please let me know as soon as possible. Do my best to jiggle things around for you. And that said, today's speaker did go to the website and we have their bio sheet, because today we have Mr. Mike Skinner, whose business name is Blackwater Media. Now, nature of the business is commercial and event video and photography. His position in the company is the boss, but that does mean he's the team maker as well. Areas covered is worldwide, but mostly the southeast. Now, a couple of things here about Mike. A bad experience with food. He broke down in India for around 4 hours while suffering the dreaded deli belly. On a track and nowhere to hide, and regulars passing by in traffic. Not a very nice place to be. Something that Mike advised in others is a willingness to help others learn rather than see them as competition. His prized possession is 2 proper Gibson electric guitars from his musical days. He'll never sell them, but he's probably never likely to play them again either. And how Mike relaxes is camping in a woodland with a nice bottle of wine whilst laying in a hammock. With that said, would you please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Mike Skinner.
Right, as Neil suggested, we'll tell you out, we're just going to watch Game of Thrones for 10 minutes. Hello, I'm Mike Skinner, I'm Blackwater Media. I've been involved in photography and videography for over 10 years now. I formally established Blackwater Media in 2020. Focuses on commercial work and event coverage. We create content for websites, online advertising, social media, and training and education, whether it's internal or external for my clients. As a company, I provide pre-production, which is speaking to companies about the aims of the media, the budget they have, the intended outlets, and the company branding and the ethos they're aiming for. On-site filming, photography and drone work, and then post-production, which is what we're going to go into a little bit more of today. So we're going to start with a quiz. So it's only 5 questions, so if I won't hand out paper or anything, you can just make notes or remember. It's not that difficult. I'm going to show you 5 stills from famous films. You get a point if you get the film correct, and a bonus point at the end if you can guess what the theme is that runs through them, or what the connection is while picking those scenes from those films. Right, so number 1. This is a really difficult quiz. I'm hoping you get it. Number 2. Theme isn't 6 packs, by the way.
Yes.
It's not good for you.
Number 3.
Yeah. I think I've got it already.
Get some positive noises, yeah?
Get in the food.
Number 4. Might be a bit of a trickier one from that shot. And the last one.
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everybody seen enough?
Yeah, got one.
Right, so we'll do it on trust. I'll run over the results and you can tell me if you did it well. Number 1. 300.
It would be a much shorter film if it only turned up 100.
Number 2 is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, I can get that.
Which I've got to say is one of my absolute favourite films in terms of how it's filmed, the styling of it, and it's a beautiful looking film. Number 3 is Schindler's List.
Hey!
Number 4 is The Joker, Joaquin Phoenix. And the final one, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Did anyone get what I correct? Okay.
5.
From those stills, does anyone want to take a punt at what the connection might be between those films?
I was going to say Steven Spielberg, but I don't
Hey, well done.
They're trying hard.
Right, so they all have a very unique and recognisable colour palettes with styling. You can pick almost any scene, even without the main characters out. Most of those films show someone and they'll be like, oh, that's, and be able to get it just from how it looks. So, that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Again, from Budapest Hotel, colour palettes like this are used to give a consistent theme to a film, or at least various sections of a film. But also to set the feel and subconsciously get the audience in the right mindset for what's going to be presented to them. So, as you can see there's a lot of pastel colours, it's really warm, it's quite friendly. If that's suddenly cut to, a dark part of the film or something unpleasant was happening, you notice a lot of that disappears and you can actually blues, greens, more blacks, and it just sets you on edge a little bit and sets the mood for what's going on. So, big screen movies tend to be much more stylised than the sort of marketing and short films that I present, but it's still an important technique that is part of both the pre and post processing of what I do. The pre in that I want to think about this before we start filming anything, know what we're going for, and then the post is tying it all together from the footage that we've got on the day. When I'm talking to a customer, I want to know the feel of what they want. Is it corporate? Is it upbeat? Is it solemn? Are you looking for empathy from the audience? That's all things that we can tie together. We use that in the music that we choose, the pacing of the cuts that we're going to use, and the colour choices that we go for. So what I'm going to do next is show you some examples of my own work and why I chose the colours and schemes to go with. So this first screenshot was for a lifestyle video as a keepsake for the owner of the horse. It was shot really early on a spring morning, it was still really misty in the air, the sun was just sort of breaking through. And I deliberately kept quite an earthy sort of feel to the shots. There's quite low contrast because there was no strong sunlight, it was coming through the cloud. There's no real strong blacks in it, even the sort of bright white skies have still got a bit of that earthy colour to it. And the idea is just to give it a very sort of subtle, natural feel because it's out there sort of in the wild, not wildlife, but that's part of horsekeeping, being outside and to do things like that. This was from a sunglasses shoot we did in Kensington. They wanted to aim for the higher end look, so we went for really sharp, crisp, clean images. Strong whites, strong blacks, but didn't put too much saturation into the clothes in the background because we want the focus to be on their faces and ultimately the sunglasses that they're advertising. This is actually a still taken from a wedding video I did. I know it's not a very wedding video shot, but it illustrates the point better than some of the more obvious ones. In this case, I separated the skin colours from everything else in the shot, which then let me turn the saturation and some of the brightness down in the background. So the main focus of the video, the participants, really pops out from the screen, and it just gives a gentle, unobtrusive setting for them to sit behind them and just still see the church, still see what's going on, but the focus is on the people. This was a still photo that I took from Suffolk Pride Parade. It was really grey, miserable, raining English label was there. Obviously, we wanted photos to be quite strong, happy, punchy for their media releases. Simply a case of adding some contrast, adding some saturation to it, and upping the colour temperature. So for the next shot, I'm going to show you how it looks straight out of camera. And you see there's no major changes, it's just emphasising the parts of the image that suit the purpose that we wanted to film for that, which was bright, fun, and colourful. Next, we have our wonderful Emma Taylor, who did a video for a few weeks ago, and she was selling the ones of Billericay. So to work with a sort of fairy tale location that was trying to be promoted, I embraced that in the video colours. It's a slightly soft focus, lots of pastel colours again, giving that airy, dreamy feel that otherwise could have been a common property sales video, which is not what we wanted to go for. And then, alternatively, you can just go for black and white in some cases. This isn't from any of my work, it's just a photo that I took on holiday that I quite like, so I'll put it up as a free sale. So that's just a look at one part of what I think about do before, during and after a shoot. The same thought that goes into colour also goes into music choice, shooting, editing style, and the graphics that may or may not be needed to go into the video. It's all part of a larger package that tailors the content I make to the customer that I'm providing it for. Corporate work, not as much stylisation, but we still have to follow the same set of rules, if you will. What's the ultimate aim of the video, and how does it reflect the business that's commissioned me to do it? We don't just want it to be sort of an off-the-shelf product. So, as a point of example, I actually bumped into Howard just today because I went down to see one of his neighbouring businesses. And they sent me a big folder of files and said, can you make a promotional video out of this? And I flicked through them all for a few bits and went, that's a nice shot, that's a nice shot. It just got to that I don't really know what they wanted, so I gave them a call, went down there yesterday, had a chat for about half an hour and just sort of going to run me through the history of the company, the services they provide, and specifically what they wanted the video for. And it turns out they want it for a competition in their industry, And that just gave me a much better idea of what content to include, what order to put it in, and how to target it for the needs that they want. So, in summary, filming time is actually a fairly small part of what I do of my working time. Easily, much of my business is planning, preparation, and post-production, but mostly just customer relations. From understanding the business to getting people comfortable in front of the camera, if that's what I need them to be doing. So, thank you very much for your time and attention. Please keep your ears open for any potential business you can send my way. My net is really cast pretty widely because all businesses can benefit from better media on their websites, and there's certainly not enough yet that are embracing video in particular to sort of make a connection with their customers. And finally, I'd love to open the floor to any questions you might have.
Apart from videos containing people trying to burn things, yes, I know you've got specialism in, is there any particular sweet spot or area that you love to do in terms of?
Quite like advertising some of the stuff we've been doing with burning things people. I like doing interviews, as in not just a sat down interview of people talking, but I like having someone sat in a chair, stood in front of their business, talking about their business, why they like it, what's going on, things like that, and that you can then intersperse that with shots of the business. If you get the right person, it can be difficult sometimes, but if you get the right person, it's just so nice to have someone that cares about what they're doing, what they're talking about, coming across the camera, and it sells much better than just a collection of shots of what they do.
So Richard, Mike, I know you've got a drone. Do you go to events, for example, like some of the things that Neil might do, or shows, and then do drone, or not really?
It's something I'm completely open to and advertise. I haven't done drone event photography yet. I've done a lot of sort of properties, individual stuff, people, things like that. And it was meant to be doing, I had all the permissions that we sorted out to be doing the drone photography at Ipswich Pride. The day before, the council came back and said, oh, actually, we decided we don't want any drones flying. So hence I ended up on the ground doing still photography instead. So I haven't done any larger scale event photography. There's a limit to what you can and can't do, but certainly smaller to mid-sized events, there's no problems at all.
What's the funniest video you've ever done?
Oh, Christ.
For the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I genuinely don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. I've done enjoyable bits. I've done a fair amount of sort of mountain bike videos and things, which usually involves people crashing and injuries and things like that, but they usually get up again. No, there's been no. I told Harold yesterday, actually, we did have a job a little while ago, but it wasn't funny in any great way. It was just the driest video that I've ever had to film. It was about a really dull topic about British standards and things like that. What was meant to be half an hour's film turned into 3 hours, very monotone talking, and 3 hours of that to then cut up took me 2 days to edit, just watching the same video over and over about British standards, and that was pretty hard work.
When I know you're very good at the visual image, you record sound, I guess,
yes,
time to time for indoor events and outdoor events. Do you have a special setup for recording external videos, because the sound distribution is completely different?
How do you mean for external videos?
Well, I mean, if you're trying to capture the environment, it's going to take more than just a little microphone.
Oh yeah, 100%. So generally, we actually break the sound down into quite a few bits. So if you'll see a video of someone talking, noise going on in the background, people, in a yard or something like that, what ideally you want to do is capture the voice and nothing in the background, and then capture the background sounds, and then you can sort of set those at levels that you want. So what I'll do is get a little recorder like that, put a microphone on my collar, get into the talking part, which is really good at cutting out all the surrounding noises. And then I'll walk around with a large microphone and go, yeah, it'd be nice to get a bit of the lorries unloading, it'd be nice to get some bird song in the background or whatever, and then we put that in the layers afterwards and we'll get up to what sounds right.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mike, thank you very much. If you could do the running, and if we start with the naughty corner, let's deal with the environment, please.
Yeah, thank you Ben for the edge shot, really good. Well done, Mike. Excellent. As always. A couple couple of thanks to the monies, Mike Rogers, ex-member, and welcome as well.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, but we all leave it.
Something we don't know.
Yesterday. It's nice to see when you've got a friend you know nothing about. It's nice to see that there's a lot more that goes into it. You can realise. That's great. That's it. I've stuck it on the wrong way. Well done.
Thank you for the sweets.
Thank you very much. 10 minutes are very interesting as always. Thank you for the education. Very much excellent. I've got a question to ask everybody. I wanted to put together an interview type situation as a blog, and I'd like to know whether or not anyone's got any questions that you want to ask an insolvency practitioner. You can send those to me on email, you can send them via LinkedIn, however you want to communicate with me, on the group chat, and you may feature them in my article. So the best ones will feature in my article, and I'll obviously give you the answers to them. So if you've got any burning questions for the insolvency practitioner, then please put them forward. You might be featured in my article. Okay.
Yeah, good meeting. Love 10 minutes. It's nice to see something that's genuinely creative. You know, we work through creative in one way or another, even in insurance, but it's really nice to see someone that's such a passion with it. I've got a couple here, but you don't need to move, because one's for John, and one's for Nick. So, see you all next week.
Lovely meeting, great 10 minutes. I did have a question. Who's telling? What a blinding idea.
You wouldn't have said that like such a podcast night. I was trying to get the slides to work.
Well, yeah. To be honest, I can't rewind this a bit. Yes, great 10 minutes. I've got a referral for Paul D, but he's not here. I've got one-to-one. For James.
I'll do that.
You've got a one-to-one. For me. And I've got to thank you for the money to Aid.
So, Aidan?
Yeah, it was a little bit of run. See you all next week.
Great meeting, brilliant. That's not been really good. And your 10 minutes, Mike, outstanding. Really was. And I want to thank James for my birthday present last week. £1,700. Very generous man. That was the saving I made on my professional indemnity insurance by going from the broker I've been with for the last 20 years to James's outfit. Which I've done it earlier, as I say. Which leads me on to a referral to James for my professional indemnity insurance. I'll have another one here. This is to James for my house and contents insurance. House contents linked insurance. Indexing. Thank you. That's it.
Really good 10 minutes. I know a few equestrian centres that I follow on Facebook, so
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, express details. I'll chase them on and on.
One-to-one with Ben and one-to-one with Neil later on. See you all next week.
Yeah, well done, Mike. I think you did well getting out of your house at 5:30 this morning with that under your arm. And not get arrested. That's pretty impressive. Well done.
You don't know his area. It's a common thing.
That's excellent. Mike's done some skills for us, me and Aidan in the office, and they're really good. Aidan won't let me publish them yet, but I thought they were lovely. Had a one-to-one with Ben over at the Brentwood show. It's good to see you over there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nice seeing you. Nice sunny day. And thank you for the money for Kim, ex-member Kim, still sending the work. Happy days. Welcome to David. Nice to see you again. Thank you.
How you use a screen in a 10-minute presentation. The reasons for using it are obvious. It was illustrative and an excellent 10 minutes. Really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant 10 minutes. We chatted about what to do, so you put together really, really well. So, brilliant.
My panic text message 2 days ago.
No, brilliant, well done. My dad owns the equestrian centre actually, so it might be worth. I don't really talk to him, but I could try and squeeze it in though as well, so we can get you in there as well. But no, brilliant. Had a few one-to-ones, obviously with a good one with Neil, had a very nice lunch as well. To be fair, I put them all three on, so one to Tina and then one to Terry, so perhaps you can split them among whoever wants them there. So it was great, and good chat with David earlier on in the week as well. It was nice to catch up, and hopefully we can follow on from there as well. But great meeting. See you next week.
So, here's some words I never thought I'd say. I've made a referral to Will Werner this week. Yeah. No, he's not. I belong to probably just Will Werner. Very good. See you all next week, maybe.
Fabulous 10 minutes. We've obviously done a few bits together, so it'd be good to try and do some more projects in the future together. But really good to see your knowledge on the colour and those kind of things. It really does show, so good stuff. Welcome, David. Hope we'll have a chat with you at some point. Need my carpets clean. Oh yeah, thanks so much, James, for sorting out our insurance. Really prompt and everything, and that was great. And thank you also, Paul, for helping facilitate the office move and stuff. So yeah, have a great weekend.
Thank you, Mike. Excuse me, your presentation was entertaining. True to form, I got 0 on the quiz. Have a good weekend. It's going to be nice and warm, and see you all next week.
I was going to put in a referral for Paul DeLue to get in touch with Southend United Football Club. I don't know if anyone's heard, but they sold the rights to one of their stands to an estate agent called Gilbert and Rose. So it now reads the Gilbert and Rose West Stand. So that's they're now the Southend are now the butt of every football joke in the ground.
They already were.
It's awful. Rose West Stand though. I mean, it's really bad. So a referral for Tina for ongoing admin work for another month. A referral to James for content insurance, because that was a really good point, and ours has lapsed. And one-to-ones with Tina, with Ben, and with a super physical one with Matt on Sunday. It was painfully. Moving office furniture. Office furniture. But thank you. Oh, great Ed Slot, great 10 minutes, and thanks. See you next week. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Yes, man. It's good to see how everybody followed your advice today. Myself included, I don't think any of us took it very seriously today. Great 10 minutes. I love that picture at the end of the horses. That sort of reminded me of. I felt there should be a Red Indian or whatever we call them these days. What are they called now?
Midgets.
A referral to Ben for a certain David Sinberg, who I understand, so I'm taking that referral.
Oh, okay.
Ben, yeah. I'll have that one as a similar. A referral to Matt Barry. I wanted to know if he can make me useful. He said no, but he's going to see what he can do for my business. And thank you for money to an ex-member, Mr. Rupert Miles.
Stand up,
I would like to say thank you for the
breakfast.
Well, that, I can't say thank you for that. It was cold. Thank you for making me so welcome, and maybe I can see you again. Thank you.
So for the first time in ages, I've got a few days paper, and I've got to do the running. So I've got one for Emma, who's not here today, Howard, the one's on yesterday, thank you very much, and 2 referrals for Evan.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you, Mike, for doing the running. Before you go, the Speaker's Prize, could you come and select the winner, please? Yeah.
From Neil to James.
Hey. Right, excellent. Okay. Look at that. Oh, you have to leave the scene.
This afternoon.
Yeah.
It was all swap.
No. Are those wine gums?
No, they're jelly
They're
babies.
jelly babies. You can't say jelly babies.
Don't worry about it. Terry, I think we're going to have a referral reality check.
Yes, we are. Just really for all of you know what this is anyway, Nick, especially for you, this referral reality check. Just to see what's going on, to see if these bits of paper actually turn into anything. One from Terry to Tina. Please can you survey the winding up petition on Euthania investment?
Got documents that will be done on Monday.
Toby to Neil. Robin Hyde Pryke.
Oh, he was the other guy. You're working.
Yes, we're working with the other one. Yeah. You should put another slip in there.
Vince to Scott.
Scott's not here, so
He's not here, so we'll give that one.
He's spoken to the client. I know that.
Good man. Neil to Tina, more work.
Yes.
Good man.
Constant there.
Neil to James Humphreys, insurance for a contact.
Trade that, forgot to send you his details for public liability.
We'll quick while we're ahead, it seems to be working nicely, doesn't it?
I agree. Thank you very much, Terry. Thank you all for an excellent meeting. As usual, I throw it up to the floor. Yeah. Start, Paul.
Yeah, next Tuesday is our normal B2B sessions finance syndicate meeting. Now we're going to be concentrating on September visitors. So I've sent a couple of emails around to our group on the visitor promotion front. It's not just our visitor promotion that's welcome to our syndicate group. Anyone in other groups are welcome, but I'll send it, the email out 4:20 p.m. at George and Dragon next Tuesday.
Thank you, Paul. Ben?
Can I just say massive thanks to Paul for going to get the breakfast this morning?
Sausage rolls for the win.
Yes, obviously, I've mentioned it a few times, with the office move, I do actually have some very good high quality office furniture going. I have a corner desk, a very nice corner desk, some smaller desks, some small chairs, big tables. If you need anything, if you know of anyone who needs anything, a very, very good price, and you too can have a hot, sweaty, physical one-to-one with me.
That should attract you all. Right.
Just a quick one.
Yes, John.
Where is the furniture?
It's in my old office.
Okay.
I can take you there now for it, one-to-one.
Let's go.
Guaranteed to come out sweating.
I'll use that line.
The problem with that, John, is on the way up you go through the dentist.
Oh, yes.
Right. That's the end of it. Thank you very much, Mike, for that award, which I'll treasure. It's lovely and sunny. It's probably warm. Go out there and enjoy the rest of the week. I look forward to seeing you all next week.